This is question number 4 on quiz 5 for module 6, computing cost of sales and ending inventory. Stockton Company has the following financial records for the current period. So we have the beginning inventory and 3 purchases, which with information about number of units and the unit cost. Ending inventory is 350 units. So with the given the ending inventory, we can calculate how many units are sold. Hence, we can calculate the cost of goods sold. But that will also depend on the costing method. So compute the ending inventory and the cost of goods sold for the current period using first in, first out average cost and last in, first out. A hint for average cost, round average cost per unit to 2 decimal places for calculation of ending inventory, round to the nearest whole number. So that means that's for the final answer. Cost of goods sold equals cost of goods sold available for sales less ending inventory. So it might be more convenient to calculate this by Excel. So let me just do that. We can just copy the number, copy the table directly to Excel. That can facilitate the calculation a little bit. So we can calculate the total. Let me first calculate the total, which means it's gonna be the unit cost times the number of units. So that's simply the that times and this. So it's not call that total, so just to call that cost. Total cost should be just cost, and then we just pull the cell down to get all the cost, and then we can get the total. So this we can get the total. It's called the total cost of goods sold available for sale. So this is cost COGS, cost of goods sold available for sale, right? So we can get that number, and this is basically the sum of all the costs. The sum of all costs equals sum and all these numbers here. So that's cost of goods sold available for sale, and then given the ending balance, so the ending inventory unit, we provided with the 350, right? 350. So this is we can get the total number of units is the sum of beginning inventory and until the third purchase. So the total is 1500, and then the ending inventory is 350. So that means the sales unit should be the difference, right? Should be the difference between the total number of units minus the ending inventory. Should be ending unit. Just to the inventory generally means it's the dollar amount. But here it's just the number of units. So the sales unit is the difference between the total and the ending unit. And then our job is to assign the cost to the sales unit and given the different costing method. So if you look at the answer table, we need to fill in the blanks for ending inventory. So we have the ending unit, and then we need to assign the cost here. But in order to assign the cost here, we need to assign cost for the sales unit. And once we do that, we can also do the ending unit cost is simply the difference between the cost of goods sold available for sale and this cost of goods sold which means it's the cost for the sales unit. So, and we have the ending and we have the cost of goods sold. So now let's begin the calculation under the first in, first out, first out. So that means for this 1150 number of units, we need first to begin with the 150 and then 600 and then 500. So if you add up these three numbers, that will give us 1250, right? This because the 600, 500 is 1100, and then plus 150, that's 1250. So 1250 is greater than 1150. So that means for the second purchase here, we just need 400 out of these 500 units here in order to match this sales unit. So because this is a FIFO, so that means the cost of goods sold, will be this unit cost, and then why don't I just add up the cost here, and then this equals the cost here, and then plus the cost here, and then plus again out of this 500 only 400 is needed in order to reach this sales unit number. So we just times plus 400 times this unit price 46. So that's basically the cost of goods sold under the FIFO. And then given that, we can figure out the ending balance, ending inventory. And then inventory basically is the total cost here, right? The cost of goods sold available for sale, the total cost here minus the cost of goods sold. So that's basically the ending inventory. And then we can just copy the number back to the ending inventory number there, and then copy this number back to the cost of goods sold under the first in, first out. And then we can do similarly for the other two costing method. So average cost, as instructed by the question, we need to keep two decimal places for the average cost number, and then we can we need to round to the nearest dollar for the final answer. So just keep that in mind when we do the calculation. And so under average cost, so it's AC, not AV. AC, the cost of first, we need to calculate the unit cost, average cost, right? Average cost, unit cost, under average cost, unit cost, which this must be the total cost divided by the number of units, number of total units. So this is basically the average cost per unit. So given that, and because we have 1150 total sales, so we just need to multiply this average unit cost by this sales unit, and that gives us the cost of goods sold under the average costing method. And then the ending inventory will just be the difference between this cost of goods sold available for sale, and then minus this cost of goods sold for under this average costing method. Again, remember we need to follow the rounding rule. The rounding rule here is to keep no decimal place because it's rounded to the whole dollar. So that's the final answer. We just need to copy the number back, ending inventory, and then this cost of sold back to the right blank. And finally, LIFO. Under LIFO, it's going to be first this 250 will go first at the cost of 45, and then 500, and then 600. But if you add up these three numbers, it will be greater than this 1150. So that means for the first purchase here, only, let's say, 750. If you add up the 500 and 250, that's 750, and then take the difference between 1150 and 750, that's gonna be 400, right? 400. So only 400 out of the 600 units are needed in order to meet this sales unit, this number. So that means we need to calculate, when we calculate the cost of goods sold, we first add up the last cost here, and then the second to the last one, and then for the third to the last one, and then we need to be careful because now we need to multiply the unit cost times, as we just calculated, 400 units in order to meet this 1150 number of units demand. So that's going to be this cost of goods sold under the LIFO. And then for the ending inventory, that's simply the difference between this cost of goods sold available for sale and then minus this cost of goods sold. So again, we just need to copy the number back. Just need to copy the right number back, because here I calculate the cost of goods sold first. So then I need to copy the number below it to the right column or right row here, which turns out to be the first number in this